Good morning. I said I wasn't going to scope till Thursday, but here I am. Hello. I saw a question come up a couple of days ago and I thought, you know what, it's probably easier for me to discuss that on Periscope than it is to write out some big, huge, lengthy explanation. Good morning. You know what, I'm going to try to put it on YouTube, the last one. So what I have found is when Periscope blips, it automatically stops recording, and then for some reason YouTube won't allow it to download. Wow, at least he's asking for something else. Bye. You're talking yourself into it. Come on, Amanda, join the dark side. There's already so many of us over here. I know, right? I mean, I guess there's worse things that he could ask than to see my glutes. I haven't been working on them lately, though. I've been sidelined for now what looks like 6 weeks. So no running, no lifting, no nothing. So to get macro numbers is typically, that's exactly what I thought. It takes 2 to 3 business days if your form is completely filled out and I don't need more information from you. So if you don't have all the information that I need to write your macro plan, it can take longer than that. So 2 to 3 business days, like I said, if I have all the information I need from your initial form. Yes, so you can, you know what? In fact, Amanda, you can absolutely eat whatever you want to for the next 3 to 4 days. That makes it more accurate. If you start eating healthy now, you're just going to screw up your numbers. Don't go doing something stupid like that. So yes, typically, and then because it's 2 to 3 business days, if you were to fill it out on, yes, stay till the end, of course. If you were to fill it out like on a Thursday, you're not going to get your plan. I don't work on the weekend, so you're not going to get your plan until the following week. But that's all on my website too, just so everybody knows. It's explained more than once. Once you fill it out, it takes a couple of days because you basically get in line. Got it. So once Megan sends you her scale, oh, well, good morning. We don't use words like that. Ugh. Men can be such jerks. Am I right? Yes, we are going to be talking about macros here. Well, actually, we were talking about macros, but we're actually going to be talking about muscle building. Thank you. After everybody starts getting on. Oh my God. Megan broke her scale? Did we scope about this? Did I somehow miss this? Don't you have more than one, Megan? I'm in my kitchen still. I'm just at my kitchen table. So when I'm at my desk where I normally talk to you guys, it's typically in the afternoon and the lighting over there is really Should I block Skinny Meg for asking me that? Wait till the end. You know what? I actually dropped my scale on my floor and a plastic piece cracked off of it. But then what was so funny is it still works. So I'm not sure if it's accurate anymore, but I'm going to keep thinking that it is. I know, they're so quiet right now. I don't know why my birds are quiet. They're right behind me. Want to see them? See the cage? Yeah, oh yeah, don't get your scale wet either. That's right. So I don't know why my birds are quiet. My dogs are napping. Maybe that's this week's sign of the apocalypse. When all is quiet in my home, there's something wrong. So I was going to talk to you guys about, you have to wait till the end for that. Just so you know, wait till the end. It's going to get really good. I had one of the macro ladies ask last week on our Q&A why is it so hard to lose muscle, but it's so easy to, or why is it so easy to lose muscle, but seems like it's so hard to build it? This is probably specifically for women, right? It seems like men can talk about losing weight and they lose 20 pounds, and they talk about building bigger biceps, and then all of a sudden they've got this amazing cut on their arms in like 2 to 3 weeks. And as women, we're going, why are we struggling so much with this? So the number one thing, Megan can answer this for you. Let's see if you guys all know this too. What is the number one thing you have to do in order to build muscle? Anybody? Yep, that's a good start. Exactly. Eat more. That's right. We have to eat in a calorie surplus. There we go. There we go, ladies. So we have to eat in a calorie surplus for a long time. The biggest issue that most women have, I don't care if you're following macros, if you're following Weight Watcher, I don't care what you're following. We're always eating in a calorie deficit. Deficit is going to cause muscle loss. We lift heavy to retain as much as you can while you're in a calorie deficit, but that's to maintain, okay? See, my birds are agreeing with all of you guys. So, if as women, we're always trying to lose the fat, that means we're always in some sort of a calorie deficit, right? You can't build muscle in a calorie deficit. Your body needs extra calories to fuel, to grow your muscles. So the reason it seems so hard to build them is because none of y'all are eating in a surplus for a long period of time. But everybody's eating in a deficit for a really long period of time, right? I mean, we all are trying, right? I got to lose that last 10. I got to lose that last 15, whatever it is. So we're not computing the fact that, well, I've been eating in a calorie deficit for a year. And you're wondering why it's so hard to build and keep muscle. If you ate in a calorie surplus for a year, the thing is, as women, we have a harder time with that than men. Men are so willing to like eat all the foods, right? Because we've watched them. They eat these foods, they build the muscle, they look amazing. You guys are such jerks. They go into a calorie deficit really for a very short period of time, most men do. And then they stay at either maintenance or above. As women, we've got this idea that skinny is what we're trying to attain, and so we're eating less and less, and then we're wondering why we're not muscular. It's very hard for a woman to fully bulk, like get bulky. We have too much estrogen in our systems to get really manly. So the only way that you see these women that look like a mini Hulk Hogan is because they're putting testosterone in their body more than we have. Oh crap, you blocked Megan. Yes, mini Hulk. I mean, the guy's lost a lot of hair on top, but he still wears the bandana. So it's not actually harder for us to build muscle. The problem is it's harder for us in our mindset to allow ourselves to come out of fat loss and into muscle building. I mean, there's a woman that I follow on Instagram. I mean, now she's just like amazingly cut. She went on a calorie surplus for 18 months. Do you know how hard that is mentally for women to go into a surplus for not reversing up. We're talking a woman who sat in a calorie surplus for a year and a half to build muscle. Guess what happened when she cut the last time? The lady is ripped. So if you want fat loss, yes, it's going to be all about consistency. It is so hard. Well, and not wanting your stomach to look fluffy is going to be, again, that's going to be consistency with diet. That's going to be consistency with lifting. And her name is, I'll have to send it to you, Megan, because it's like one of those, she's a pro. So it's like IBFPP_ whatever. I'll have to look it up. So yeah, you're going to need to hit your protein consistently because you're trying to retain as much muscle as possible. Also, whatever part on your body you feel you have the most work to do is going to be the hardest to get it off. It's going to probably be the last. That's pretty normal. Yes, you can absolutely build strength in a deficit. You're not going to build muscle mass, okay? Because what's happening is when you're in a deficit, your body is using all those calories to survive because you have your basal metabolic rate, and then the rest of them are pretty much being burned off during your exercise. So you're not going to be able to build muscle mass during a deficit. You can absolutely get stronger though. And what we have to be, yes, you can definitely get stronger. I mean, Hello. So what it is being okay with maintaining your muscle mass while losing fat. And that's still going to require lifting heavy. And there's going to be days when you're pooped and you don't want to. Doing all the cardio is going to make you look and feel like crap, just so you guys know. So yeah, you got to hit that protein. Come on, Kayla, got to hit it. And doesn't that stink? I mean, there's always this part on our bodies that like we see everything I'm pretty good with except blah. Not necessarily. If you're in a cut and you're seeing gains on the scale, there could be so many different reasons that that's happening. Scale weight is not a great indication of fat loss, nor is it an indication that you're gaining, because I'll be honest with you guys too. If you gain like 6 pounds in a month, you didn't gain 6 pounds of muscle. Something is off. I'm not saying that that's how much you're gaining, but if you're consistently gaining, then, I mean, you could be at maintenance. It doesn't, because the idea with macros is to take you just below maintenance. So you're not starving yourself. So if you're maintaining, then yeah, it might be time to drop your numbers a little bit. If you're going to start a cut for summer, now would probably be the time to do that, because if you're going to do it the right way, then you're going to need probably at least 10 weeks, 12 weeks to really lean out the way that you want to. So if you're wanting to start a cut, lean out for summertime, now would be a good time to do that. Well, you're not going to immediately be able to cut cardio out. See, the thing is, cardio is burning something, okay? So what happens is if you go from doing 5 days of cardio a week to nothing, that was an extra calorie burn that all of a sudden is no longer existent. So what you should do if you are a cardio bunny and you're trying to reduce the amount, are you kidding me? Is she really on here? Is she on here, Megan? I haven't seen her. Hey, at least you got to run today, jerk. I went to the doctor yesterday and they're like, no, you have to go at least another 3 weeks. You can't run. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing the stairs for another 3 weeks. I'll have to, you know what? I'll have to look at your numbers, Betsy, because I can't tell off the top. Oh my gosh, Yoami! Look at that. Now my day's made. It's not going good. Where you're not hungry? Do you want to be hungry? That's not a good thing. Where are your numbers? I haven't seen an email from you yet, sister. Don't go there. So, you don't need to follow a plan. I saw a picture of you in that dress. You're fine. People thinking they need to lose something. Oh, it is going good. Okay. I was like, wait a second, why is that a bad thing, Cheryl? Well, then it sounds like you probably need to email me or go out to my website. My website is poppylocks.com if you want to get started with me. It is hard if you're not sure how to calculate your numbers and you just use one of the online calculators. Why does cardio give us pancake butts? That's a fantastic question. So, if you are doing steady state cardio, you're not doing anything that's going to be muscle building. The heavier that you are lifting and the more high intensity cardio that you're doing is going to actually build muscle. So the idea is to, pancake butt. So let's take, these are extremes, but let's take what a marathoner's body looks like. And I do macros for men that are referred by my current macro women. So if you're in my macro group, then I do macros for those men. But I do not do macros for men that are not referred within my group. So a pancake butt comes from doing all the cardio, which ends up actually putting your body, if you go too far into a deficit, you're actually using muscle for fuel. Your body will break down muscle and turn it into glycogen to fuel your workouts, which is obviously not a good thing, right? So if you are doing the least amount of cardio and what you are doing is high intensity bursts, look at somebody who looks like a marathoner. We're talking steady state for long periods of time. Or you look at a sprinter. somebody who does track workouts. They have those amazing legs, right? I mean, every muscle shows up on those. Those are people who are doing bursts of super high intensity and then pulling back and recovering, and then a burst of, so I know that those are two very extremes, but if you think about the difference in the bodies, I am all about looking like a track person and not looking like a marathoner. So there is the difference between those who are muscle sparing and then those that are not muscle sparing. So somebody who's consistently running long distances at the same pace. I mean, I know those people are running a 5:30 per mile, but they're running, that's their workout pace, right? So if you're doing that regularly, then you are actually using muscle as fuel. Not something we want to do if we would like to have a shapely backside or good looking hamstrings or not have a thighs and a butt full of cottage cheese. So try doing things that are super high intensity for short bursts with a recovery, and then repeating that 10 to 15 times to get yourself about a 20 to 25 minute high intensity workout, and you will benefit a lot more. If you are not ready to puke or die, then you're not working hard enough. Yes, my macro women have the option to join me for a monthly lifting plan within the group, which is an extra subscription. But yes, if you are one of my macro people and you also want to lift with Poppy, you will have that option too. So it is, again, not something that's available to the general public. It's only available to the women that I work with directly. And at home, if I don't have it on my YouTube, it's just because I forgot to make it public. I do have one, so if you go back out to my YouTube page later on today, then I will make that. I have a workout that's on there that I've recorded. So it is, my macros plans are $40, and that is going to now start to include 2 sets of numbers. What I'm finding out is that the third set for almost every one of my ladies is having to be tweaked, which is taking me more time, more energy. So what it's now going to be is $40 for 2 sets of numbers, and you also get an extremely detailed email on everything you're supposed to do, as well as access to a private Facebook group for all the women that I currently work with. And you also have the option once a month. It's a monthly subscription to sign up for a lifting plan that is $12 a month. You get a new workout every month, and that is something that's auto-billed, and you can only join on the 15th of every month to start the following month. So May has already started. That would be the best $50 you ever spent, Amanda. Get on board. So if you are working with me, it is $30 that from that point forward as a returning client. Yes, if you want a killer workout, it is amazing. I will say that. Lifting is my passion. I love actually running too, but if you want to lift and feel like you're almost about to die, sign on up. It's fantastic. It's crazy like that, isn't it? I mean, the group of women in the macro Facebook group now has gotten really tight with each other, which is so fun. No, you will not need any other workouts to supplement. It's $12 a month, Amanda, on top of it. Yes, that's right. Did you die? You didn't die. It was good. If you were going to do it, you need full access to a gym. If you have a home gym, that is fine. You can use that, but I don't give revisions or anything else like that to the plan. So what you can come up with to modify if you don't have certain equipment is totally on you. That's not something that I provide. But it seems like most of the women in there have been okay with being able to figure out that kind of stuff. Yes, free weights and a squat rack should work. There's other things that are in there sometimes, leg curl, leg extension, those types of things. If you know, like I said, I mean, Google can be your best friend. It's going to happen. I mean, you guys know this as well as I do, right? If you order something online and you get this workout plan, you don't get any kind of assistance on ways to modify things. And if you see something either that you can't do or don't know how to do or you don't have equipment for, what do, ladies? We put our big girl panties on and we figure out how to do something else, right? Not that hard. Yes, so the payment would be on the 15th, between the 15th and the last day of each month so that you can get the following month. And the link will be available in the macro group. My workouts are typically about an hour long. Anything that's less than less than that, still going to be totally effective. You can always, again, 45 minutes, if that's all you got, you can shorten it. How often do you have to renew for macros? Well, it depends on what your goal is, and it depends on how quickly your body adjusts to the macro change. Some of us actually have to change our numbers more frequently because our bodies enjoy sitting at something, and so then you have to change it down farther. It all depends on, I think Insanity is good. I think Insanity is a lot more cardio type based. You know, all those really high moving things, anything that's got reps of like 15 and up, you know, if the average reps on any kind of weightlifting is 12 to 15, that's going to actually end up being more of a cardio based type workout and less of a strength and muscle building type of a workout. So, just pay attention, you know, obviously, I mean, I'm not the end all be all. There's plenty of amazing workouts that are out there, and I would be more focusing on things that are within the 5 to 8 rep range personally. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with doing cardio-based activities. I mean, those are a lot of fun. You know, Megan does spin. I think stuff like that is fantastic too. Just not overdoing it. Again, maybe 2 days a week tops. I mean, a spin class is going to be an average of about 50 to 70 minutes, depending on the spin class. And if you think about it, that's a lot of cardio. And I know that they can be really high intensity, but I would limit that kind of stuff because, again, you're not going to get the benefits that you are from lifting. Exactly. Everything hurts inside for sure. Yes, so the workouts, the lifting plans that I create are going to be for any level. It's going to just be based on what you feel like you can lift. I actually create my own marathon plans. I've been running for a really long time. So I used to have a personal coach, and he would write my plans for me. And now if I... You can ask as many questions as you want to. That's why I get on here. So yes, I mean, the other thing is too, when you start out any kind of lifting plan is to stay on the more cautious side and lift a little bit lighter than you would expect. Because if you get to a point where 2 days in you're so sore you can't walk, then you pushed yourself too hard. Yeah, so I'll be 40 this year. So let's just say that I've been dieting probably for the last 20 to 25 years, right? I mean, you women know that, right? We start somewhere in high school, watching what we eat and that kind of stuff and paying attention to it. And then, so I would say I went from finding out in my early 20s that I could literally, yeah. Shut up. I'm 39. So I figured out in my early 20s that I could take something like Xenadrine and I could drop 10 pounds like nothing, and then I could get on the elliptical and I would feel great, right? You lose those 10 pounds like nothing. And then once I started having babies, that's right, I will always be 25. Always. Just like Megan. Thank you. So I started after I had 3 kids in 3 years. My oldest was 2 when my third one was born. And I think having 3 kids in 3 years like that, my body just like flipped, because I would get to where I would lose almost all the baby weight, but then I was pregnant within, you know, I'd have an 8-month-old, and then I was pregnant again. And then the second time my baby was 5.5 months when I found out I was pregnant again. So it was insanity around here. And each time I couldn't lose, you know, the remaining pregnancy weight because I'm nursing, and then boom, I'm pregnant again. I know I was crazy. I don't know any different though. So I guess that's, thank God I don't, because maybe if my, I know. Now it's fun because they're all really close together in age, but down there, I mean, you should have seen me, guys. When I started back in the gym regularly, it was insanity because I'm carrying a 15-month-old in, and then I had a car carrier with my 8-week-old, and then I've got my 2-year-old in my other hand. I mean, it was just crazy, crazy, crazy. But that's when I started figuring out that my metabolism had changed a whole lot, and that when I first got back into working out, I was able to drop weight again like nothing, right? Because you went from doing nothing and then you go back to, I'm starting to eat healthy and work out. And as we all know, we're trying to always get off those last, like I said, 10 pounds, 15 pounds. And I would try something new to see if I could get that off. And what ended up happening over those years was that I started figuring out that those things weren't working. So really, yes, for me, it was years of trial and error and finding what does work and what doesn't work, what causes insanity. And then figuring out what was best for me, what was best for my family, what was best for my current lifestyle. And that's how I ended up coming up to where I am. I am like an avid reader. You can ask my husband. He comes home and I tell him all these wonderful new things that I find out every day. Just like we had talked about a couple weeks ago with some of the ladies on the scope of why you can weigh your container of prepackaged yogurt and it never weighs 150 grams. Well, I needed to know the answer to that. I know, yes, that's why I tell you guys, I'm the queen of useless information. Just ask Megan. One of these days, we're gonna have a scope that is Quiz Poppy on how many grams equals certain amounts of cups and tablespoons, and because I can tell you all that stuff. You know what? Yes, you can absolutely lose 50 pounds this week. Some of the questions that I get, Lord have mercy, it's pretty interesting. Megan and I do need to plan to scope together. I know on Thursdays she's invited me to come over to her house. I need to have her come over here and watch her lift so that I can like live vicariously through her, and then we can scope while she lifts. I'll just talk and then I'll just watch her work out. How does that sound? I'll yell at her. Lift heavier. Put your butt back. And show the boobs. There you go. And apparently you can even come over to my house at 5 o'clock in the morning, because Meredith did that last week and I was somehow willing to get up and watch her do that. Oh my gosh, my brother has his Air Force PT test next month also. I can't even talk. And you know what? So he has been in Afghanistan. He was there for 6 months. And he tried to lose weight. He was doing some high protein diet or whatever that he had found, right? And of course, he's over there. And so he was working out hard. He comes home. He weighs the exact same amount as when he left. And his PT test is next month. So what is he? He finally contacted me and said, fine, just write me a macro plan. I need to figure this crap out once and for all. I mean, I love my brother, but he's one of those same kind of dieters. And he has been on macro since he's been back, which is pushing about 3 weeks, and he has already lost 10 pounds. He texts me every night, and he's like, I had to have 2 beers, beef jerky, and 9 jelly beans to hit my macros. And he's losing weight. It is possible. It's amazing. Elbow pain after lifting. Hey! Yes, that's what I'm saying. You can eat jelly beans too, Amanda. If you're having elbow pain, there could be several things. You could either be lifting too much. You could have improper form. A lot of times is what the problem is. I have found most people, when they end up with elbow pain, it's because like they're flaring their arm out too much, which is, again, bad form. Even if you're contracting, if you're not keeping it in, like biceps, our arm should not be out here when we're lifting. It should be tucked in and like touching the body. Well, just jump on the bandwagon. I'm here. So a lot of times that could be something. Yes, Cassie, you are probably, is it Casey or Cassie? I guess it would be Casey, because you'll have to tell me. If your hands are hurting, my guess is that there we go, Casey. So you're probably gripping too. I mean, a lot of us unfortunately do that. We need to remind ourselves that our hands are actually more like a hook than they are like grip strength. So I don't like things like the Smith machine, because I feel like you can, just put your hand like this on the bar, because the bar's in that track all the time. So yes, there definitely has to be a grip on it, or same thing with deadlift. But with deadlifting, I mean, your arms should literally be a hook. If your hands are hurting or your forearms are super sore, you're probably squeezing too hard, which more than likely is the weight's a little too heavy. I mean, let's be honest. So if you lighten up the weight a little bit and if you lighten your weight up and you have crazy, amazing form, you're going to get killer workouts. There are guys that are power builders that will not bicep curl more than about 25 pounds. And you'll see them, and they've got these massive arms. And they're over there, and you're like, dude, I could totally curl 25 pounds too. Yeah, but he's actually paying attention to his muscle contraction. He's getting just as good of a workout as the dopey-ass bro that's on the end over there trying to throw up 55s like he's some kind of badass. Check your ego at the door, lighten up the weight, improve your form. I promise you, you look amazing. As long as you grunt. That's right. The number of bros that are in there are just insane. I see these guys. Oh, Megan makes all kinds of noises. I mean, you should hear her when we get like a massage at the same time. I'm like, is he doing the same thing to you that he was just doing to me? Because I don't sound like that when he's doing that. We have a guy that we, because we both run, that works on our legs and stuff. And it's not like a gentle massage or anything. It's called ART, which is an active release therapy for recovery. And it hurts bad. I mean, it really does. But I'm quiet. I mean, where he'll even ask me, he's like, are you feeling that? And of course, you know, I'm just over there with like the silent tear. She's making all kinds of noises. Let's just say that. I'm not going to make those noises on my scope because then we're going to get all the open boobs comments coming. And Lord knows, we're getting rid of most of those creepers. So, yes, the guy who comes to Megan's to rub her. That guy. Same one. So ladies, if you would like to build muscle and keep your muscle, you're going to have to just bite the bullet and start eating in a surplus, which is really hard for us to do mentally. My suggestion is starting in about August to reverse up out of a deficit, up to maintenance, and then keep pushing your body. I have yet to get Megan to do this for me. We're going to work on it this fall. We're going to see how high we can push her metabolism up and her resting metabolic rate. But not during the summer, because summer's a hard time to do that. Actually, Amanda, yes, if you haven't followed macros, there's a really good chance that if you have about 8 weeks until you went to the beach, you totally could do it, no problem. But yeah, so I like to do that. The first time that I did it, see, there you go, you got plenty of time. Sign up now, sister. You can cut for now, but you can't cut once we hit August, Megan. We're going to show everybody else what it's like. And I mean, I know several of you guys have followed me for a long time, but that's what the first time that I did a reverse and tried to go into a surplus, I gained about 6 pounds. Now you have to remember, as you go into a surplus, you're gaining muscle, right? So we try not to really focus on the scale and get upset about the scale because it's normal. Muscle gain equals scale gain, hopefully, right? If we're gaining muscle, we're still going to weigh more. I mean, that's the way it works. So I gained about 6 pounds and made it up to about 2250 a day. The last time that I reversed, I made it up to 2500 a day and I still hadn't gained a pound yet. So we proved, right, that I was able to get my resting metabolic rate up. It's so hard, isn't it? The struggle. I'm going to be hungry, but I want to be thin. So we have to just suck it up and decide if it's worth it. Because I hear so many ladies that are like, I'm just so hungry. Can I increase my macros? Hey, ain't nobody holding the gun to your head to tell you that you have to eat less. I did not. I did lose weight, but I obviously lost fat. And so I actually lost 2 pounds of muscle. I went in and had a hydrostatic body fat test done. Because again, like we said, in a calorie deficit, you are trying to retain as much. So the fact that I was able to lose fat and still retain 4 pounds of muscle that I had gained was fantastic. I was totally happy with that. Teenage boys, he's lost 10 and he's absolutely, it's human is what happens. So our bodies, yeah, we need to, do you already have your schedule, Megan? We need to do it. Yes, Kayla, your numbers should be, I'm pretty sure you're on a fat loss plan. Yeah, I mean, again, if you can totally do the workouts at home without machines, as long as you know how to make revisions to that. Well, I can't tell you how long you would need to cut if you have 50 pounds to lose, because I don't know how you're currently eating. Unfortunately, a lot of women I find out have a lot of weight to lose and have already been starving themselves. And it gets to where it can be virtually impossible to lose, because, I mean, there can be a 300-pound woman that's eating 1,200 calories a day and won't lose weight because her metabolism has dropped to the point where her body is used to surviving on 1,200. My website is poppylocks.com. So anytime you see someone that needs a lot of weight to lose, it does not mean that they're eating 4,000 calories a day. In fact, most women, unfortunately, are doing the exact opposite. They've tried to do everything that they can to just lose weight and exercise more, and they've put this massive deficit. If you guys haven't seen it, there is a YouTube video that I posted about the way that our metabolism drops so severely each time that we drop our calories, and we end up getting into this huge gap where we're up here with weight and we're down here with metabolism, and the only way that we can get ourselves to lose weight is to continue to drop our calories farther and farther, and you get to a point where your body absolutely will not let go of anything out of fear of starvation. So what we have to do is have to teach it to survive on more without gaining fat. I can't even get my Casey, I can't even get my second ebook out. It is important to eat all the carbs. That one's on it's on my YouTube channel, which I hate to tell you this, but I don't know the name of my YouTube channel. Intermittent fasting. So that's actually a pretty good question too. Is it going to totally spark your fat loss? No, it's not. A lot of people use it because they start to get to a point where their macros are very limited, right? So as you get closer to the end of your cut, you're going to be eating less. I mean, that's a fact. So a lot of people will put intermittent fasting in as part of their program so that, oh, well, there you go. My YouTube is Poppylocks. See, I have no idea. It's so that you're eating in a smaller window of time, which makes you feel full longer in that window. And your body, again, adjusts. A lot of people will do intermittent fasting from, like, let's say 8 p.m. at night till 10 o'clock the next morning. You definitely can count your sleep as part of your fasting period. And then they just will get up and they won't eat immediately. They'll wait until about 10 o'clock in the morning to eat. And so they're getting in a much larger window of not eating. So then they eat from, like I said, they'll eat from like 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they can eat larger meals because they're eating in a shorter window. A lot of women have a very hard time, going into intermittent fasting because of our hormone levels. Oh, Christy, I'm totally with you too. In fact, I've done intermittent fasting before, and I used to do it where I would eat for 3 days and then not eat for a 24-hour period. Like I'm telling y'all, if there's a diet out there, I have tried it. I promise you. And every time it has only been to lose about 10 pounds for me. Yes, I have quite a few ladies that are doing macros that have PCOS. We have found that they do a little bit better with a lower carb content. But yes, it's a slower moving process for them. But PCOS has not been an issue, I don't think, with any of the women that I work with. So yes, PCOS would be great. Yeah, so I used to do, it was almost a 24-hour on. I know, right? So I have tried, I'm telling you guys, I tried an 18-hour fast window, and I did that for a long time. I have done like I said, a 24-hour window where I'd go 24 on, 24 off, 24 on. And so I was basically fasting every other day. But a lot of times I would do a 24 where it'd be from 4 p.m. to 4 p.m. So I was actually eating every day. I know that sounds totally jacked up, but like I would eat one day up until 4 o'clock p.m. and then I wouldn't eat again until 4 p.m. the next day. So I was still eating dinner. Yeah, so what ends up happening is we can, especially the older we get, right? Like I told you guys, I mean, I'm probably getting to the very beginning of being premenopausal because I'm almost 40. Our hormones start to change. And then what ends up happening is we kind of jack all that stuff up instead of taking care of ourselves. And I have found, again, that macros is much more freeing. I'm actually eating a lot more micronutrients naturally besides hitting my macros. Like we said, it's not about eating Pop-Tarts and getting ripped. It's about eating a very normal, healthy diet with some really fun foods in there without guilt. So much more important than Because what I found with fasting is, for me, that I would get to a point where I literally would try to cram about 1,500 calories into 2 meals because I was so hungry by 4 p.m. And everything said, once you do this for a week or something, I got my nose pierced 4 years ago. I've literally wanted it since I was 18. And then my husband and I guess it was 5 years ago. My husband and I, 10th wedding anniversary, we went on a trip and I got it done then. Yeah, so, the thing was, I didn't find a lot of benefit to the intermittent fasting either for myself. And I had read about it a lot, and I know some people have really felt like they've benefited. Men benefit. They just, again, jerks and their metabolisms and their testosterone and all that mess, they benefit from it. If you have a guy in your life that is trying to lose a couple pounds, he could literally probably continue to eat the way he is and add in some fasting, and it would probably help him shed those last few pounds. Thanks. That's why I got it. That and tattoos. So, yeah, I've done ketogenic, I've done intermittent fasting. I have not done Weight Watchers. I can tell you that. I have done Slim Fast when that was a big deal. You name it. I've tried all of those things. You can absolutely, macros is eating. If you eat food, you can follow macros. Everybody else here eat food. Lord knows I eat food. You can follow macros. If you don't lift, you do lift. You got 20 pounds to lose. You got 120 pounds to lose. Macros is just about eating. I didn't want to pay for it, I guess, more than anything. Remember, I'm old school. So Weight Watchers now isn't what Weight Watchers was. I remember, this will tell you how old I am, when Richard Simmons had Deal a Meal. Because my aunt was on Deal a Meal. And she had the tiny little notebook where she'd change the colored cards over. She'd pick a card out and slide it over. And then when all her cards for the day were over here, she couldn't eat anymore. And people lost it. And you know what it was? They were following macros. It's like these stupid 21-day fixed containers or whatever it is. They're shoving as much as they can into this tiny container. If you would just weigh your food, you wouldn't have to have all these colored containers that tell you how much to eat. Besides the fact that my issue with those containers is I'm like, where's the cake container? How can I possibly shove 2 slices of bread in there so that I can make myself a sandwich? So it was all about trying to stuff as much stuff in those things. Yeah, but is it the size of a sandwich, a piece of bread? Because I don't want to mash up my bread to be able to hit my carbs. Just saying. Right? I'll keep pouring it in. I got 2 servings of the yellow container today. Thank you. My mug cakes won't fit in there either. And then if, I'm like, okay, well, the protein container, can I fill that up with protein powder? It's just, it's restrictive. And I've done plenty of diets to where restriction is the key. And I'm all about restriction with moderation. And so, yes, do I have to limit the fact that I can only have 1 serving of Skittles today? I do. But I got to eat those Skittles. And a lot of those diets, the first thing they tell you to do is cut out your candies and your sugars and your alcohols. And I'm not going to do that, especially not if I'm trying to lose weight that's fairly insignificant. Yay! That has been, that was the way that my husband, he got online, where he got on board with me because he was watching what I was doing. And then it's just made it so much easier because the scale sits out. And now my kids do not count macros, but I wanted my kids to understand that this is not a diet. And that this is something that they can learn moderation from day one. And so one of the things we do in our house is our digital scale sits out pretty much all the time. They weigh their cereal in the morning. We don't log any food for the kids. Like I said, I let them have cookies. We eat Pop-Tarts. We do all that kind of stuff in our house. So I'm not making them weigh food. I'm not controlling anybody's weight. I don't want you guys to think that we got some psycho thing going on around here. But what I want them to see is that this is not just something mom and dad do. That everybody can weigh their food. They can see on the side of a cereal box that 31 grams is their serving, and they pour 31 grams of cereal in. You know what it also does, ladies? It limits the amount of food in our house, because if my kids are pouring their bowl of cereal, I guarantee sometimes they're pouring 2 servings. But if they see the number on the scale, they pour in 1 serving. So now my cereal boxes actually last longer. So I'm saving money just by my kids watching what they're eating, and they are just paying attention to it, and they love it. They love putting carrots on the scale. They love putting cheese on the scale. And they see, because every other diet that mom has been on has been only mom. So when we've gone somewhere, it's mom can't eat there, or mom doesn't eat that. And there's always, again, like we said, restriction. Well, now they're allowed to use the same tools that I'm using, because we all eat the same foods. So if you want your kids to see that it's truly a lifestyle, you allow them to live it with you. And it's not just about mom can't eat a hot dog today. Mom's going to weigh your hot dog. You want to weigh your hot dog too? Yeah, you know what? That was probably the biggest kicker for me, was when my kids, we were going to some restaurant and my kids said, oh, we can't eat there. Mom can't eat that. And all of a sudden it was like, wait, my children have learned restriction because of me. And I'm the only one that's going to be able to teach them freedom. And if I can teach them freedom with food at 10 and 12 years old, they won't ever have to deal with, me teaching this binge starvation thing, which is what I'm showing them with the way that I eat. So as far as a scale, I got my scale at Target. It's made by Taylor. It was $39.99 or something like that. Just make sure you have one. I will help you with your 1-carb waffle. Make sure that your scale allows you to zero it out every time you put something in. It makes it so much easier to put a bowl on there and hit 0, and then put more stuff in and hit 0. So when you're making, pancakes, waffles, whatever, you're not having to use up a whole bunch of bowls. So if you find one that does the zeroing out on there, and also make sure that it's got grams and ounces and milliliters, that kind of stuff. MyFitnessPal is fantastic for your macros. That's right. Put it on your door. So if you've been doing macros, Ashley, then you can just sign up with me, and you can use your current breakdown to send me how you've been eating, and then we can create a plan from that point. Oh, Christy, what you saying, girl? I didn't catch it. So 1-carb waffle is 1 scoop, which is approximately 30-ish grams, depending on which protein you use. 1 scoop of protein powder, 1 egg. 1 egg white will typically work, but I have found that it actually, adding the fat of the egg yolk helps with the consistency. Egg white, you know what egg white, like meringue, how it gets when you whip it? No. And I have no makeup on right now. I do not Botox. I use PE Science because it's a whey, casein blend. Casein protein will actually hold you over and keep you full longer than just a straight whey. So, what's 2.5 grams of carbs, right? So like the PE Science Snickerdoodle is 1 gram of carbs. So it's 1 scoop of protein and 1 whole egg, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and I haven't tried Beverly, and then 2 ounces of liquid. I've used 2 ounces of water if you want to keep it truly at 1 carb. Egg beaters, yes, that's probably a good reason that you're getting overflow, because they're runnier. I mean, I know that they look like real eggs, but they're actually just egg whites with flavoring and food coloring if you read the side. So a whole egg, is thicker. It has that more, I hate this word, mucousy consistency. But because of the density of the yolk, the fat in the yolk, there's a good chance, I think it just has a better turnout with a real egg. It works fine with egg whites. And of course, you're going to keep your fat way down. 2 ounces of liquid, either water. I made one with Fairlife chocolate milk. I've made one with, what's there, like 4 grams of fat? I mean, it's not going to hurt you. You don't have to save all your fats, I promise. 1 whole egg's not going to hurt you. I used coffee last week. Just make sure that your coffee is closer to room temperature. You don't want it to be super hot. Another suggestion is not just dumping everything in the bowl and stirring it. It's to stir your dry ingredients together first and then put your liquid in and do your egg last. You're going to get just a better consistency. If you guys know, you can always accidentally overmix things. That's what makes things tough. Cake, biscuits, all that kind of stuff. too much. I guess they were waiting till the end. They showed back up, didn't they? I have tried the protein angel food. I totally understand. I do. I only get, my fats right now are 40. They're pretty low. He did look 12. I always wonder where these guys come from. He could have been using a 12-year-old's picture. I mean, talk about creepers, right, y'all? Ugh, so gross. Get off my scope. Bye, Danny. Jeez. So, if you guys want help with macro calculations, poppylox.com. If you are already one of my macros ladies, you can always email me. The best place to ask questions is going to be on the Facebook group because there's so many women that are on there now. I got started on macros. Actually, Heather, if you want to read my story, it is on my website, poppylox.com. It's amazing, isn't it? Pregnant and macros, 100% yes. Yes, yes, yes. If you are pregnant, if you are 20 weeks pregnant, absolutely. I wish I had known about macros when I was pregnant because I wouldn't have gained 70 pounds with each baby. So, because again, the idea is to gain the least amount of fat. I mean, obviously you're going to gain weight. You have a tiny human that's growing inside of you. But if you can limit the amount of excess body fat that you get, that would be fantastic. The other thing is, so once you pay, then you will be sent to an online form that's going to ask you all kinds of questions about the way that you currently eat and you currently exercise. If you're not sure how much you currently eat, that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to request of you is that you log your food for 3 to 4 days. Don't try to eat super healthy all of a sudden. Don't try to start forcing yourself to eat 1,200 calories a day. Eat normal, because the more normal you eat now, the easier it's actually going to be to transition into macros. So also, just so you know, I don't care what you eat. I don't look at your actual food log. I only want to know your calorie breakdown and possibly your macro breakdown if you're able to send that to me. I don't care if you got your 1,800 calories in eating broccoli or if you got it in eating ice cream. That's right. No judgment. Amanda knows. She won't jump on the bandwagon, but she knows. Well, you know what though? If you have kids, the best way to start with it is you can scan the barcodes on foods. So yes, your numbers are not going to be 100%, right? But it's a great way to start, and it's better than doing nothing and just throwing in the towel. I have a lot of women that have very little kids, and what you end up finding out is that you can meal prep, even like I said, prepackaged things. You eat cheese sticks that are in the little paper. You eat individual things of yogurt. You use protein powders to hit your protein. I mean, it's a little bit of extra work, right? But I mean, anything worth having is going to take some kind of sacrifice. And I know it's hard. Like I told you, y'all know I got 3 kids that are within 3 years of each other. So if there's somebody who understands tiny babies, I understand tiny babies. And you get super used to it. Prepackaged foods are a lifesaver. That's the other benefit to macros. You're not having to grill a whole bunch of chicken and eat nothing but asparagus and broccoli. You can eat beef jerky. You can eat lunch meat. You can eat the little Laughing Cow wedges of cheese. I mean, it makes it doable. Heck, I eat pretzel M&Ms in the single serving package. Do they cost more? Yes, they do. But you know what? I don't have to weigh anything. I just scan the back of the package and I eat all the M&Ms. And life is good. So, I hope you guys got the information you wanted. I know we were talking about muscle building, and we of course go off on these amazing Periscope rabbit trails, which is always so much fun. And I'm more than willing to answer any questions that you guys have. If you do have a question that I find out that comes up fairly regularly, I typically will try to answer it on here because it seems a lot of people end up having the same questions about following macros. Yes, now that is hard. I have done that. I used to eat my kids' leftover food a lot. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you guys joined me, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you guys Thursday. We do macro Q&A live scope. So come up with all your questions and come see me on Thursday. Have a great day.